You're listening to High Frequency Healing on the Superpower Up podcast, the show that explores the awakening of superpowers through higher dimensional healing.
Hello, this is AngelaMaria, one of the Superpower Up hosts, and you are listening to High Frequency Healing Show. The only difference between where you are to where you want to be is the actions you take here and now to heal your life. And I want you to welcome Nancy. Nancy, could you help me with your last name again?
It's Byrne.
Byrne, to my show. We will be talking about being spiritual through choices. Nancy is the author of Choices. She's a spiritual psychic reader and channeler for the prestigious American Association of Psychics. She is certified in psychic development, spirit mediumship, medical intuition, Reiki master, teacher, and is an astrologer. Nancy believes that everyone possesses innate psychic abilities, messages from their soul, which can improve the quality of life by providing guidance, keeping them safe, and helping to make the right decisions or choices. Please join me to welcome Nancy Byrne. Nancy, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Angela, for having me.
Nancy, let's start this conversation with this question. What is your healing superpower?
I think my healing superpower all comes from listening to my inner guidance. I think so many of us listen to the mindless chatter of everyone else around us, and we don't pay attention to what, our souls are trying to tell us, what Spirit's trying to tell us. And we really have all the answers within us, Angela. We just have to stop and pay attention and listen and know that, that magic pill that everybody's always looking for. It's already within us. We just have to accept it and allow it to happen. And so I think it's really important to make time to listen to your own inner guidance. And if you're hearing a bunch of stuff from outside of yourself and you're hearing something different inside, always go with what's inside of you, because it will never lead you astray.
Nancy, I love your superpower because it's very similar to my superpower. And before we start this interview, you were telling me this beautiful story about how did you end up living in the place you're living. And I would love that you share that story with us, please.
Okay, well, I wrote the book Choices, and I was seeing a massage therapist in Colorado. And she said, Nancy, why don't you and your husband come and visit me on Whidbey Island? I have a vacation home there, and I will have a book signing for you. So I got so excited about somebody was going to have a book signing for me, and I didn't even hear the word island. My whole life, Angela, I have been terrified of water. As a child, my dad tried to drown me, and I can still remember trying to breathe and getting water in your lungs instead of air. And so I don't like to be in water. I don't want to be above water, and I certainly don't want to be, on water, even in a boat. So I went home and told Phil that she had invited us, and he was really happy about it because he'd never been to Whidbey Island. He's really well traveled. But he said he'd heard it was beautiful. So we got the airline tickets and we're ready to come. And 3 days before, Michelle called me and said, Nancy, I'm really sorry, but I can't have a book signing party for you. She said, my husband, Matt, is getting transferred. We're going to be moving to Whidbey Island permanently, and I've got to get our house in Parker ready to sell. But I love your energy. I just love your energy, and I want it in my house. So come and get the key, and I'll give you the combination code. And I didn't want to come if I wasn't going to have a book signing. That's the only reason I wanted to come. So I wanted to cancel, but my husband said, Nancy, the tickets are non-refundable. We spend a small fortune for these tickets, and we've got to go. So we came. And when we came up to the ferry, Angela, I almost had a full-blown panic attack. I was so scared. I mean,
I can tell.
I was, please, Phil, no, honey, no, I don't want to get on a boat. And he said, Nancy, this is the only way onto the island. He said, it's only a 20-minute ride. You can do it. But my fingernail marks are still in the upholstery of that car. So we got here, and I was just miserable, and I was really disappointed with Spirit. I felt betrayed and let down, and I didn't enjoy the whole week. And so when all I could think of was getting back on that ship. And so when we got back home, I wrote a letter, an automatic writing to Spirit, and I said, you're Almighty God, you know everything. You knew Michelle wasn't going to have a book signing party for me. So why did you have her invite me to go to Whidbey Island? And Spirit said, I had Michelle invite you to Whidbey Island, Nancy, because you're going to be moving there. And I laughed. I said, oh, there's no way I'm going to go to live on an island and not end up drowning or something. And I showed it to Phil, and he laughed. But then I started having dreams about the island, like how beautiful it was. And one dream I had, I was swimming in the bottom of the ocean floor, and I could see all the fish and all the plant life, and it was just beautiful. And I was swimming with a little blowfish on my left and a great white shark on my right, and I could breathe underwater. Mm. It was such a wonderful dream. So I wrote another letter to Spirit, and I said, I'm always spot on. I don't know how I could have been so wrong. Maybe I was traumatized by going to the island, but I thought you said you wanted me to move to Whidbey Island. And Spirit said, Nancy, you heard me correctly. Nancy, you still need to learn to let go and to trust. And you will flourish on the island, and our book will flourish on the island. And I want you to be there by the end of the summer. So I told Phil, and he said, Nancy, there's no way we're not moving from here. We have everything here. We had a huge house, and we had, 4.5 acres of land. We had a small ranch. And he said, I'm not moving. And I can't believe I said this, Angela, because my entire life I have been so fear-based and scared of everything. And I said, well, Phil, I'm learning to trust in God, in Spirit, and not in man, and I'm moving. And he said, honest, you'd go without me? And I said, yep, I would. And so he said, okay, I won't stand in your way. So we're here. And now every morning when we wake up, my husband loves it here. I think he loves it more than me. We just are so grateful that we live in paradise, because it is paradise.
Nancy, I love that story, because that's the perfect proof that you can heal your life through choices when you listen to your inner guidance. Nancy, where can people go to find out more about you?
Well, they can go to my website, which is www.choices-nlb.com, choices-nlb.com. Or they can look me up on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter. But the best place would be my webpage, because it has all the information about me. And Angela, I want to say too that I did not write the book Choices. Actually, it was totally written by Spirit. And I put that in the back cover of my book. I just got author credits because I typed it all up and delivered it to the publisher to print. But it's a very good book. It has lessons about every aspect of life. It talks a little bit about my childhood. And
we're going to have time to talk more about that. Do not go further, because I want to go deeper into that experience. We've been talking with Nancy Byrne about being spiritual through choices. When we come back from this short break, we're going to talk more about her healing superpowers and the book that she was the person that typed it, but it was written by the Spirit. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Are you here to change the world? Do you talk about things like vibration, frequency, awakening, and consciousness? Are you pretty sure you have superpowers? The Superpower Net is unlike normal coaching programs and conscious communities. We provide training, intuitive guidance, peer-to-peer learning, intensive one-on-one coaching, and a high vibrational network of people just like you. When you join the net, you get 24/7 access to a collaborative group of people who support you as you master master your personal power and unlock your superpowers. If you're ready to use your superpowers to change the world, then join the Superpower Net today. Visit superpowerexperts.com/thenet to learn more.
We're back. You are listening to High Frequency Healing. Today, we are talking with Nancy about being spiritual through choices. And before the break, she was telling us about her book. So Nancy, please tell us more, because I love that what you just said, because it's the same experience I have with my program. Yeah, it's my program because I believe my higher self needed a human being to have a name in this planet so everybody could know about it. Otherwise, it's hard for them to materialize in this third dimension. And I think it's the same experience you were telling us before. So tell us a little bit more about your book.
Well, when Spirit told me to write the book, I said, I woke up one morning, Angela, and it was like I heard this kind of booming voice in the bedroom, and it was also sounded like rushing water. And Spirit said, I want you to write a book. And I said, no one would want to read anything I had to write. And Spirit said, Nancy, your life's experiences could help many. There are so many out there that have gone through similar experiences, and they feel all alone in the world, and they feel hopeless. And you need to write the book because it'll help them. And so I think that Spirit, what you just said is so true. Spirit wants to reach out to people and help them to awaken to their own potential and remember who they really are, the magnificent human beings that we all are, and to let go and to trust. I think that's our biggest obstacle, is we let our minds get into the way. We think that everything's going to stay doom and gloom because it is at the present moment. And I believe that what we don't see is actually more real than what we do see, Angela, because Spirit sees everything, the whole big picture, and we just see through our human eyes, through this, three-dimensional body that we live in. We miss out on so much, and if you just let go and trust, it's amazing the things that happen to you. Every experience that has been the most wonderful experience in my life has been pretty frightening for me. But once I just trusted in Spirit, it all works out.
Nancy, I completely agree with what you said. And I was thinking while you were talking, and the beautiful experience you had, because you heal your life from that fear through a choice. You heal your life when you said, I'm making this choice, and I'm just making this choice because I was guided to. How do you relate being spiritual through choices?
I believe that we were all given free will, and that no person can take that away from us. And because the choices that we make determine the rest of our lives. Whatever choices we make now will impact the rest of our lives. And so it's up to us to make the choices. We have all, like I said, all the answers within us. We have everything we need to make the right choices. We have already been given everything we need, but we don't realize it sometimes. And we listen to what everybody else says. Angela, nobody knows what's in your soul but you. We're the only ones that have lived our lives. We've experienced all the things that we've gone through, all the hardships, all the pain, all the sorrow, everything, all the good times. And even when you go see a therapist and you're telling them about your life or you have a problem, they only know what you tell them. We and we alone are the only ones that can change our lives for the better. And we have choices, and we need to utilize them and not be giving our choices away to somebody else to make for our lives. Because if they make a bad decision, it's not going to impact them. It's going to impact us.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Nancy, how will you guide people to empower themselves through choices so they can start healing their own life?
The only thing I feel that I have to share with people is basically my story, my life's experiences, and hopefully it will help them, to navigate through some of the obstacles that they face in life, and maybe it'll give them the courage to just trust themselves, because you can't trust anybody else, and you can't even trust spirit until you first trust yourself. You have to know that you have all the answers and that you are worthy and you deserve to have a fulfilling, prosperous, and happy, healthy life. We deserve it, Angela, and Spirit wants to give it to us. We just don't allow it because we don't think we're worthy, or we think we're sinners, or we think we've done something wrong in the past. You know what? Spirit thinks we're perfect just the way we are.
Thank you, Nancy. And when making important choices, because we are making choices every single second. I wake up or I keep in bed. I have breakfast or I just go for a run. Should I have bread or cereal? All the time. Red shoes or black shirt? All the time. Everything in our lives is making choices continuously. When making those choices that are really important in your life, what would you suggest taking into account?
When you hear Spirit's voice, it's not loud, it's screaming like the media, like TV or the radio or anything. It's just a still voice. And sometimes you get a feeling, and you need to pay attention to it. The more you start listening to your own inner guidance, the more Spirit's going to talk to you and direct you and lead you. And the more you start following and acting on what's in your, it's like your gut instinct. It's like this, how we all have Garmin to show us how to get places. We all have our inner Garmin, our own GPS system inside of us. But unlike Garmin, it's never wrong. Spirit is never wrong. And we need to, just get out of our own mind. We run around like rats in a maze sometimes. And I think we need to spend some time to be introspective, to go within, to meditate, to go for a walk in the woods, to go by a stream, just to go anywhere out in nature is wonderful. But if you're not into nature, just spend some time alone with yourself. It's like, we can't be alone. We're scared to be alone. We have to be surrounded by other people, and we have to always be listening to other people. The bottom line is we're all we have, and we have to make choices for our lives and be able to listen to them. And we have this whole entourage of angels and archangels and ancestors who are there. Their only purpose is to guide us through this life and help us, navigate through the obstacles that we all face at one time or the other. And most of them are bored stiff because we don't ask for help. It's like with one of us. I can't offer help unless somebody asks me. Our spirit guides won't interfere in our free will. We have free will. We can make choices. They won't interfere unless we ask them. We need to ask them to help us, and they will. If you ask, you will receive, in different ways. Sometimes there are signs. Sometimes you hear a song on the radio that really touches you, the words on this song. Or sometimes, just things keep coming to you. Or dreams. I really pay attention to dreams. And so all these are tools that, the Spirit gives us to learn to, to manage our lives in a more productive way, and to teach us not to be so afraid of everything, to show us that if we have our own inner guidance, we have Spirit, we have it all. We don't really need anybody else. We have it all within us.
And you said something before, I think it was in the question before, that it is really important to let go and trust. So talking in that direction, how to hear the Spirit voice, how to listen to that inner guidance so we can really start the process of healing our lives. How? Are there some specific things? Because you have that superpower, I have it, but I had to go through a process of accepting and trusting and letting go to be able to listen. What would you say about this? How to do it?
I think everybody goes through the same process that you're describing, Angela. I didn't want to listen to Spirit. When I first heard Spirit, I always thought, I knew what I wanted, and I knew exactly how I wanted it to play out. I had no idea. I would have never ended up on this beautiful island. So many things. I'm a totally different person than I was when I moved here because I finally listened to Spirit. But we think we know how things are supposed to work out. We see the options and we want the answers that we want. Spirit knows better what you need. Sometimes I'll do readings for women and they want this particular person in their lives that is not right for them. This person would make their entire lives miserable, but they don't want to hear that. Sometimes there's somebody right around the corner, but the timing isn't perfect. Synchronicity. Spirit plans everything. You have to start listening. You have to be still. And talking to Spirit and learning to listen to Spirit is like having a best friend. You don't only call your best friend when something's going wrong, when you call them and say, hey, can you come and, I don't know, I'm in an accident. You have to drive 5 miles and come and pick me up and take me home. I have to go to the hospital. Can you take me to the hospital? When you have a friend, you share your life with that friend. You tell them, personal things about you, how you feel, what you think, and you trust them. And that's the kind of relationship that Spirit wants to have with each and every one of us. Spirit loves us more than we could ever love ourselves and wants to have a personal relationship with us. And so the more you talk and make time to be with Spirit, it's just, people say, I don't have time to meditate. I don't have time to be alone. I have kids. I'm running around like a crazy woman. You don't have time not to, because it'll change your life. Your life will be more productive. It'll be happier. You'll get a better night's sleep. I mean, honestly, I just can't tell you enough how important it is to form a relationship with Spirit.
Nancy, and I would say in other words about what you just described, and it is just being open. It's just set the intention I want to hear. Because as you said it, if a friend wants to talk to you, you have two choices. No, I have no time, or sit down and listen. If your cell phone rings, you have two options. I'm not going to answer, or just get the phone and answer and listen. And I think that's the key here. And I love the way that you kind of explain it, is just be willing to set the intention to listen to your inner guidance. As Nancy, I have had a beautiful experience in my life. My life is completely different. I've been able to achieve and to make my dearest dreams come true just because I made the decision and I set the intention to listen and to have a deep and profound connection with my higher self that Nancy called Spirit. And for me, being spiritual is a path of healing. So we can connect in a higher level to our spirit, to our inner guidance, to our higher self, God, angels, archangels, whoever you believe in. And you do that through choices. Nancy, if I just met you right now, and I don't know anything about you, and I ask you, Nancy, could you please share with me 2 or 3 tips about how to live happily, how to share the experience of my life with joy, how to transform my life, how to all of this experience you have had? What would be those simple things? Remember, I don't know a lot about energy. I don't know about psychic. I don't know about this kind of connection and communication. But if I come and I ask you, what would be those 2 or 3 steps or tips?
I think it's what, we've been talking about just getting out of your own way. You have to trust and let go that somebody, that you are a very, very important, special person, and that you deserve to have all of your dreams come true. I believe that we ask, and like you said, we set our intentions. And you know what? Our words are very, very important. I think we have to watch what we say. If we're always saying, I'm stupid, I'm dumb, I can't do this, then that's exactly what we're going to get. Our brain listens to what we say. And sometimes we form opinions in our minds and then we act on them like they're real, and they're not real. They're just an opinion that we have that might change tomorrow or the next day. So we have to always try to look for the best and not for the negative. They say that a human being, if they hear 9 compliments and somebody says something to them that's negative, like, well, your hair doesn't look really good today, they will focus on that negative thing all day long instead of thinking about all the wonderful things. And it's the same with us. We've been given so many wonderful gifts and blessings, and we have it all. And then we focus on one little negative thing that happens. You trip and stub your knee or your toe, or somebody doesn't like you and you don't know why they don't like you. You really like them, or you didn't get invited to a party, or all superficial things in the whole scheme of life. You have to look for the good, and it'll come. We always get what we're looking for because we're focused on it. And whatever you put your energy into is what you're going to find. So if you're putting all your energy into how stupid and useless you are, that's what you're going to find. But if you put your energy into that you're deserving, and this is what you want, and you're going to get it, you don't know how it's going to happen, but it will happen. Angela, it will happen.
Nancy, I love this. Getting out of your own way. Let go. Trust that you deserve the best, and always look for the best. Let's remind our listeners where they can go to find out more about you.
Okay, again, it's at www.choices, CHOICES, N as in Nancy, L as in Louise, B as in Byrne.com. Again, that's choices-nlb.com. Or if anyone would like to send me a text message, my cell number is 303-842-6508. I do not get cell coverage on the island, but I can receive texts.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Nancy Byrne, for sharing your healing superpower with us today.
And thank you, AngelaMaria.
And thank all of you for joining us. I am AngelaMaria, Conscious Creation. Change actions, shift energy to live heaven down here on earth. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Are you ready to discover your superpowers? Go now to superpowerexperts.com and take the Superpower Quiz today.